as we said, and I'll just put a disclaimer out right now. This is not going to be 30 minutes of sitting through Dale and Lisa's travel photos. But I will tell you that every picture you see, I think, on the screen for the rest of the day are from our travels. This is the last week that we took. And while we were out there in Arizona, I was thinking about the wonders of God's creation, the things that we were seeing, because we've never been in this part of the country before, to be able to see these things, the Grand Canyon. If you'd never seen it, when we just saw a little glimpse of it, awesome majesty of God. And I want to talk about and visit about His creation. But there's something I want you to do today. If you have ever been to Sedona or ever go there and go to church, when you're sitting in the church, this is your view. Now, as a pastor, it is a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because I could wear anything to church and you would never know it. Because you wouldn't be looking at me, you'd be looking at the mountains out the front of the church. I did think when I was sitting there, if I was a pastor of this church, I think I would put automatic blinds on it so when I got up, I could push a button and block out the view so you focused on the message. But isn't that beautiful? We were told about this, and so it was just we had to go and kind of see. So this is the Sedona, the view, sitting in the sanctuary of the Adventist church there in Sedona. This world that we live in, it is not a random world. This world we live in is not a meaningless world full of happenstance and coincidences that created the things that are around us. Science shows us that everything that's present in this world today is for a particular purpose and reason. Ordained, we would say, for a purpose. It gives meaning to everything that we are and every place that we go. I don't know about you. I cannot go out into nature in any respect for any reason and not to begin to think about the goodness and greatness of our God. It's a different perspective from the worldly view of nature. You understand that? Christians go out in nature and they automatically have to begin to think about the marvelous creation of God and the things He's given us. The world goes out and looks at nature and says, oh, that's a pretty flower. That's a nice tree. So what? Who cares? They don't understand that there was something behind the creation of it that made it there for our presence and our enjoyment or for a purpose that we have. I can't wait to get to heaven and talk to Adam and Eve and those before Noah and to see and understand, have them explain what the landscapes were like. Because what we see today, as I understand it from the Bible, is nothing like it was in their times. The mountain tops and the peaks and the jagged rocks happened when? At the flood. The Bible tells us, and this is a bonus one obviously, but you all know this, the Bible tells us at the time of Noah when the floods came, the rain came down, but the earth was opened up and came up from the depths of the waters, and they formed a lot of these things that we see today. And so when I was standing out there looking at these mountain ranges, I was thinking about that a lot. Man, that's a long ways down. It's a long ways up. How deep was the flood upon this earth? The Bible tells us in Psalms 9, verse 2, before the mountains were brought forth, before them, God was there with us. Or ever you had formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. These mountain structures that we look at and we see, they appear to have been there forever. But before they were there, before they were present, God was present and had control. The mountain ranges that we saw, the vistas that we looked at and we had the opportunity of hiking at were grand and magnificent in every way. Isaiah 54:10 says us for the mountains shall depart. And this is when I started thinking, how is these things going to happen? The hills will be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from you. There's going to come a time when these mountains are going to depart and everything's going to be void, but God's kindness is going to be there for us. Nor shall my covenant of peace be removed, says the Lord, who has mercy upon us. His love, his relationship with us is greater than all these things. As magnificent as whatever you can see, if you just go to Palisades and go down by the river and look at the cliffs there, they're magnificent. God's love and mercy is stronger than all those things that we see. In Matthew chapter 21, verse 21, it says, for Jesus answered and said to them, assuredly I say to you, if you have faith. Anyone here have faith? You have faith? Would you please tell those mountain ranges to move? God promises that if you have faith, you can move mountains. Where's your faith? Where's your trust? God himself is saying that if you have faith and do not doubt, you see, there's the catch. We have faith, but too many times we have doubts. Right? I have faith that God hears me, but I kind of doubt if he really cares or really will answer my prayer this time. No. Faith without doubts is power. Faith without doubts is strength. So you have faith without doubts. Will you not only do with the fig tree, but also if you say to the mountains, be removed, and rest in the sea, be cast in the sea, it will be done. I don't understand, friends, how that happens, or how God can make that promise and proclamation, but I believe that is true. That if I had that much faith, and need, I suppose, comes along with it in a way, a need for me to cast that mountain into. What mountains are in your life? What mountains are separating you from the fullness of the beauty and grace of Jesus Christ in your life? Troubles at home? Emotional problems? Troubles at work? At school? These are mountains. And I think for us today, those are the mountains that God is talking about that he will cast away if we will have faith and trust in him and do not doubt that his presence is there for us. Because those are the ones that are affecting our lives today, right? The mountains. Psalms 136, verse 4. To him alone does great wonders. For his mercy endures forever. What are these wonders that God does? They're great, almost seeming to be supernatural. They are mighty works that nobody else can do. We have mighty, powerful and wisdom that I've seen come through this church of intellectual people, talented people, but they are incapable of doing the amazing things and accomplishing the amazing things that God himself has done for us. No matter what your talents are, you fall short. We fall short of God's amazing things. There's only one God, the God of heaven, the God of earth. And he alone does these great wonders. He alone has created these great things for us to look at. He is the creator God. And he just spoke, and these things were in place. There is nobody else like him. You ever met anybody that you said, man, that guy, that woman, that person, they are something else. There is nobody else like them. They're just simply amazing. God is that person. In Psalms 136, it tells us of some of these great wonders of what and who God is. Psalms 136, start at verse 9. To him who by wisdom made the heavens, For his mercy, it endures forever. To him who laid out the earth above the waters, for his mercy endures forever. To him who made the great lights, for his mercy endures forever. For the sun to rule by day, for his mercy endures forever. The moon and the stars to rule by night, for his mercy endures forever. Today, creation, God's creation reveals all around us his steadfast love and mercy that he has for each one of us. God's creation shows that. In Genesis 1:1 it says, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, God did these things. All these things we see were created by God himself, by his word. On the third day, God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered up into one place, and let the dry land appear. He separated the waters from the land and made it places for us to live. Water to sustain our living. As we read Psalms 136, as we just read, verses 4 through 9, it tells us of these amazing things. The psalmist was just summarizing the creation count for us, and the love and the mercy of God is being shown there for us. When we come down to the fourth day of creation, we read the description that we just see there in Psalms of the sun to rule over the day and the moon and the stars over the night, because his mercy rules forever. These things weren't just happenstance. When somebody says, yeah, creation, I don't know about that. I am more in tune with the evolutionary theory. Oh, really? That takes faith. You think it takes faith to believe in a gut creator God? What's holding that sun to be exactly at the right distance away from this earth so we don't burn or freeze? Happenstance? Or his mercy endures forever? These are the things that we know. The sun, the moon, the stars. God placed them in the perfect atmosphere around us for our enjoyment. But why is God good? Why are these things good? Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His steadfast love, it endures forever. Of course, anything that God makes has to be good, right? Because he is good. And you go through the creation story and says, he created these things and it was good. His own character is exhibited throughout creation everywhere we look. In the birds of the air, the flowers of the fields and the gardens, the trees, the animals, they're all a reflection of God's character and love for you and I. If you and I choose to accept it, that this is his character for us. The sun gives light. Without it, it would be darkness. At night, we would not find our way without the moon and the stars. The sun is needed to evaporate the water from the oceans to rain upon the earth. Just the sun, moon, and stars are amazing in themselves, all working together to make our human life possible. That slide got messed up. I apologize for that. Psalms 24, verses 1 through 2 says, the earth is the Lord's in all its fullness, the world and all who dwell therein. For he has founded it upon the seas and established it upon the waters. This is the Lord's. Are we good stewards of what God has given us? That's a political topic today, obviously. Are we wrecking our environment? I don't know that I'm wrecking it. I don't know that you're wrecking it. But we are to be good stewards of what he has made, the fullness of everything that is there. In Psalms 136, 4-7, it says, he alone does great wonders. He made the heavens. He spread out the earth above the waters. He made the great lights in the sky, the sun to rule over the day, the moon, the stars to rule over the night. God made these. The psalmist is not asking if God made these. The psalmist is clearly stating God made these. It is a statement. It's a statement of faith, a statement of truth, of what he is and who he is, his affirmity of his great God. He is the creator of creation. The creation of this world that we see around us is a wonder that no way is possible without a creator God. I was amazed. We were out there, as I understand, we were in that part of the world at the right time of year because it usually is brown in the summer. But in the spring, in the midst of the rocks, these flowers were sprouting and blooming. The one on the right-hand side, you can barely see it, but it's a red flower coming up. That is on a rock formation that is probably 30, 40 feet high in the air. We were walking by it, Lisa turned, looked and said, look at that. Out of rocks, no dirt, is this flower growing. Is God good? Is his creation powerful? Absolutely. So when the psalm affirms that there is a creator, he affirms the wisdom and understanding of a creator God who carefully and skillfully and mindfully in a masterful way formed and crafted the things of this world, not only with his hands, but by his very voice. The Bible tells us the earth was void and without form at the beginning of the creation. Out of this chaos of nothing, of nothingness, he created this wonder that we get to live in and to see and observe and to worship in. He created a world that is elaborate in functions. He created a world that is complex in many ways, and I won't even go to the medical ways of our eyes and our ears and the way these things work. I was told at one time that you could take my watch and take it apart and put it in a paper bag, all the pieces. I don't know how many pieces are in a watch. You could take all the pieces of your ear and put them in a paper bag and start shaking them, and you have a greater chance of making this watch than you do a working ear. Is God good? Is our bodies not complex enough for us to understand that this is not happenstance, that we have and that we serve a creator God? Because his mercy is with us. God is wise, he is understanding, and he is purposeful. He is intentional in making the things of this world. And then, creation reveals the goodness of God himself, the kindness, his steadfast love that endures forever. He created an environment which the smallest particles of this world to the biggest things of this world work in uniform together. How can they all survive without a master's plan? He created a world that is no way possible to be hospitable to each other, but yet it is still suitable for human life. He created the macro, he created the micro. He made a world for man and woman to live in, but he also made a garden that he put a man into. God is a creator of this world who is looking to how he can best bless us in the world that we live in if we will trust in him. It is for this reason that God made this world. He made it for us to live in. He made it for us to enjoy while we're on this earth. He made it for our delight, and I believe He made it for our enjoyment. It's not just functional. He's not just a Unitarian God. Things don't function, they just function well. But He made it for us to enjoy. They made it for His enjoyment, for our enjoyment. He made it for us so that He could reveal His character to us. He made it because of His goodness. He made it because of His mercy. He made it because His love for us truly endures forever. When we stand watching the sunset, when we stand out at night and see the starry skies, too many to count, more than what our eyes can see. When we wake up seeing the full moon lighting the earth below, it's our opportunity to remember how big our God is and how great He is. But it also reminds us of how small we are in His creation. The marvel is not that only how great God is, but how good He is. Not only does He keep this entire universe in perfect order, but He knows you and He knows me. He sees you. He cares for you. His steadfast love for you is forever. When you see this created world, please give thanks to God, your Creator. He is good. He is steadfast, and His love endures forever for you and I. I realize that Lisa and I have had the opportunity, the privilege to travel to different parts, not worldwide. We've seen below the waters in the fish, in the coral that are there. We've got to see the mountaintops on this trip that we had not seen before. But every time we go to a place to see new things, we understand and realize the Creator God that we have truly is an amazing God. Because His love endures forever. Heavenly Father, we thank You so much for Your blessings. We thank You for the awesomeness of who You are. Our great and mighty God, the creator of this universe and all of us that are here today. By Your words, by Your hands, You have created all these things. And they should be a reminder to each one of us each and every day of how great You truly are. Amen.